Holy crap, Marvel fans, these leaks are insane. Apparently, they're making a Scarlet Witch movie. And that's crazy, but it gets even wilder when you combine that with what's going on with the Blade movie and Midnight Suns. Seems like Marvel Studios cooking up something real crazy with the supernatural side of the MCU. If you enjoy our content, make sure you smash the like button on this video. It does help us out. Share this video out to somebody that would want to know about a Scarlet Witch movie coming out. But most importantly, make sure you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. Let's get into this. News scoop coming from My Time to Shine says, get excited, Wanda fans. I hear Marvel looking for a director for a Scarlet Witch movie. Okay, that's fascinating, and there is a lot of hype and buzz for this, right? Because I think Elizabeth Olsen as the Scarlet Witch is one of the coolest things that Marvel has. I personally think she's a really interesting character. She's really powerful, but it's kind of seemed like Marvel has no idea what to do with her, right? She's in Multiverse of Madness, was promoted as a massive part of that movie. She is a massive part of that movie. It's like Wanda as the villain, which, by the way, was so fun as we were, getting ready for that movie, and I kept trying to convince people she's actually going to be the villain of that film. And Marvel kind of hit it well, so a lot of normies were like, I don't believe that. And then it was interesting to watch that turn. I like Multiverse of Madness. I know some of you guys don't. But this is good news. Now, I want to stop for a second. I want to talk about Blade, because I've been trying to talk about Blade for a couple days. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on, right? So first we hear, oh, there's another writer coming on. So essentially what happened was Marvel's been through the ringer with the Blade movie. They've gone through a lot of different versions. Remember there was that report that the movie was going to have Mahershalla Ali Blade like fourth down on the call sheet? And it was going to be a bunch of female characters, and it was all about like strong women. Like, who knows if that were like, we still get people saying that might not have been true, but that report that came out in the Hollywood trades, dude. That wasn't just like somebody spreading information. So regardless of how true that is, we know for sure the Blade movie's been through a lot. Most recently, the Blade movie was changed from being a period piece to being in the modern day. Okay, and I think that has to do with wanting to tie it to the Midnight Suns movie, which I'm going to talk more about in just a second. But most recently, a new report suggests Marvel is looking for another writer. Okay, so they let the guy go that had come in and taken out all the period piece bits and made it modern. They're going to bring another writer on, right? But the report is they know what the story is. Now, without getting way too lost in the sauce and going down a rabbit hole, this ties nicely into the news about the X-Men writer and the news in general, I think, about Marvel, where you're watching Marvel and Kevin Feige, instead of going after big names and brands of writers and, that kind of stuff, they're going after like workhorses, and they're really just idea driven. So this is a little bit of a return to form for Marvel, actually, because during the Infinity Saga, even though they had some great writers and people that worked within the system, they knew what the idea was before they got the writer. They would go shoot movies. I mean, Iron Man 1 is shot without a completed script. That is just the way that studio works. Now, obviously that has limitations. Maybe that's not the way it should go. And certain movies within that system, like the Guardians movies with James Gunn, they didn't even work that way. He wrote his scripts first, he was meticulous, and then he shot, right? So there's some debate over whether or not that system even works. I will tell you that I feel comfortable as long as Kevin has a huge part of it. As long as he's heavily involved, I think it can work. And the proof is just the Infinity Saga. The shit was awesome. And a lot of that stuff was made over time. They scrambled over there, okay? Now, the point is, when it comes to Blade, the news that's surrounding Blade is that Mahershala Ali is still totally down. Everybody that's there knows what they want the movie to be, and it's different than the most recent writer, but they're just going to plug that in, fix it, and go. So there shouldn't be another delay in production for Blade, but there is some turmoil over the writing and over the script. And we've been sort of asking ourselves, as a community, well, what's the deal with that? Why is Mahershala Ali still so down? It's been a long time, and, there's a lot of other opportunities out there, I'm sure. So why is Mahershala Ali still riding with them? Well, this is where it ties to the Midnight Suns thing, and we're going to get back to the Wanda news, okay? So check this out. Midnight Suns, according to insiders, after Blade wrap, they go right into the Midnight Suns. They're going right into the Midnight Suns, okay? One other important thing here too, kind of forgot to mention this in the Blade part. Apparently, they are no longer doing Lilith, or if they are, she's not the main antagonist. They're looking for a male actor, and they're gonna make a male actor the villain of the Blade movie. I think it's probably gonna be Dracula, okay? Anyway, going back to Midnight Suns. So you have this sort of new plan, Marvel making moves, scrambling. They're going to do Blade, and then they're going to go right into Midnight Suns. That's already really cool and interesting, right? But this Scarlet Witch thing, that adds a little bit more spice to all of these rumors, okay? So check this out. The Midnight Suns rumor, it dates back a couple of years ago. It was actually around before Multiverse of Madness even came out, okay? And it was rumored that Wanda, was going to be a part of the Midnight Suns. And I think that would be an obviously good move because Wanda is so cool. I think she's like one of the most popular female characters they have. She's one of the most popular characters they have, period. And I do think Elizabeth Olsen is a big deal, a star. She's all the things that Marvel wants out of one of their characters, out of one of their actresses, right? So I think to bring her into Midnight Suns would be fantastic. If you have Mahershalla Ali and you have Elizabeth Olsen, maybe you've got Werewolf by Night, you know, maybe you even have some of her children, because there's stuff they're building with these spin-off shows with like the Children's Crusade and Young Avengers. That could go Midnight Suns with the Demiurge and some crazy stuff like that. Could also just go in a Young Avengers direction. Who knows? But I think Wanda is a key to the success of the Midnight Suns franchise. Part of me thinks that what Marvel's doing right now is actually potentially setting up Blade as the villain of the Midnight Suns movie. Because right now in Marvel Comics, there's an event called Blood Hunt, which is essentially doing that. It's taking Blade, who earlier on in the sort of story of his comics, he has actually drank the blood of Dracula. When he drinks the blood of Dracula, he becomes super powerful, super strong, but he also kind of becomes dark. And he ends up snapping and becoming like super uber big bad vampire bad guy. I think they could be setting something like that up. And I think they're probably trying to set up a redemption arc for Wanda of some kind. I think she's going to be depowered. She's obviously not going to have the power of the Darkhold and stuff like that. But she technically did a whole bunch of horrible shit in Multiverse of Madness and in WandaVision, if we're being real. So this is a good opportunity for her to earn some kind of redemption. I think it shows that Marvel is building up something significant with the supernatural side of the MCU. As we get towards Secret Wars, it's possible this will have an even bigger, to do with whatever's happening on Battle World or with magic and science. Because I think they're sort of building this macro thing with magic and science. And the other thing and I'm just going to throw this out there because I think it's crazy. We've also heard that Wesley Snipes is returning to the role of Blade for Marvel in something coming out. Some people think he could even be in Deadpool. I don't know. But apparently Wesley Snipes' Blade is on the table. He's game. They're game. So what if we get something with multiple Blades, or our Blade in Mahershala goes bad, and then you got like Wesley Snipes' Blade hanging out with Wanda, and they're trying to do crazy Midnight Suns multiversal stuff and stop the super powerful Blade that's now the vampire big bad got crazy things going. Fuck, whoa, holy shit. I think it could be really cool. So the bottom line, man, is like, yes, there's a lot of stuff happening with Blade. I don't actually read it as any worse than where we were already at with Blade. I think Marvel's confident in the direction of the movie. They're just gonna find like a workhorse kind of writer to help develop it as they make it. It's basically probably just gonna be Blade versus Dracula. Maybe he ends up drinking the blood. Maybe they'll set up Blade's daughter still. And then you go right into Midnight Suns. And if a Scarlet Witch movie is really getting a director and it's going to be announced at Comic-Con, that's a huge deal. And another sign that that supernatural side of the MCU is a big deal for them. So I actually think this news with Wanda is great. I'm intrigued in what they're doing with Blade. I think it's about time for sure. But I'm still excited about it. So that is overall the news and how I think all these different stories tie together when it comes to Blade, when it comes to Midnight Suns, and when it comes to the Scarlet Witch. What do you think?